Jessica, another episode of Crooked Spine Show. This is your first long interview. Right now in the news, I just watched another Facebook interview or something in the news that was on Facebook about sexual harassment with swimmers, with athletes. One yesterday, I was watching at the gym, watching the news. I'm at UCLA. So it's very rampant right now, and even though it's been around for a while, there's more of an awareness for that. What does your program here entail that allows it to work properly? To get people, get women especially, to gain the confidence, gain the self-esteem. Okay, this is how I'm going to work around in different environments so I don't feel scared or anxious.
Yeah, I would say, especially with martial arts, confidence. You know, we tend to build confidence. I think as long as, you know, most women that I teach for basic self-defense seminars that we teach, we do free ones all the time, and these women, I teach them maybe for about an hour or so, but a lot of times I tell them just the confidence that it took you to come in here today and do this is what it takes to defend yourself. Because if you can't walk into these doors and try it, how are you going to protect yourself when it's, you know, right in your face?
And what motivates them to come in for that first day, to take that first step? What do you see, or what have you heard from the ladies that come into what you've offered them?
I would say a lot of times what encourages them to come is either past experiences, where they've been in a situation where they didn't know what to do, and then now they have an opportunity to learn something. So usually that's a big drive for them to want to come in.
Step forward.
Definitely.
For one too.
And then I think another thing would be having that friend that invites you. And being able to do it with somebody else, I think makes people feel a little more comfortable.
The buddy system?
Exactly. and when you do that, even our students here, our little ones, we tell them, you know, if you have any friends, bring them with you, or family members or anything like that, because when you have that friend in here, one, it tends to be taken outside of the dojo. So at home, they're practicing those same things. So they obviously get better faster.
Yes.
And then it just helps, even in families or friendships, build more camaraderie with them. So the friendship becomes better.
One thing a lot of it too is you're talking about is how do I have friends that have very similar ideas of how to stay healthy, defend myself, give myself confidence, and make sure I'm around good people that motivate me, not are an instigator to do bad things.
Yeah, you are the sum of, you know, the 5 people you hang out with the most. So.
And how many have you done so far, women's defense classes or things like that? What have you done so far?
Women's self-defense classes, we've done quite a few.
Okay.
You know, we have a adult martial arts program in my martial arts school that I own, so we do it literally every night. You know, my adult class is predominantly women.
Wow,
so
okay.
yeah, it is. I think the fact that I'm a woman and we have a woman teaching here also helps with the comfortability. You know, making sure they're comfortable when they come in here. But you know,
you walk with a good credibility for one.
Yeah, it helps when they see somebody who's doing what they want to do.
It's not big Arnold Schwarzenegger doing the class today.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good.
And so I think that helps a lot. But.
And why do women come back to your class? What's the benefit once they've started? Do you see their attitude change? Do you see their confidence build up? What do you see different in them as they come in for, say, a second, third, fourth class, second, third, fourth week or month?
I think the biggest thing that drives them to keep coming back would probably be the fact that they see improvement. So every time they come in, our biggest goal here is to build confidence. If I can't build your confidence, I can't get you to do. You're not going to trust me. It's not going to work out. So I think the biggest thing that we try to do here is build their confidence. So every time they come in, a lot of times, almost, I have ladies in here still that have been here for years with me, but they'll still tell me, you know, oh, I can't do that. Miss J, you're crazy. I can't do that. And then I show them how to do it. And then by the end of the night, they're doing it. It's not perfect, but they're doing it. So they see, like, it's that wow, I can do it. So let me come back and see what else I can do.
So you walk them through the step process.
Yeah, and as long as they take that first step to walk in here and try it, a lot of them love it. You know, I've never had people come in here saying, that's not for me. I shouldn't learn that. You know, yeah, exactly.
Well, and I think they come in going, okay, I want to be safe. And I'm putting your words in your mouth. I want to be safe. I want to be good around my friends and family. How do I build it? Sometimes they go, that's too far, and you're building up that bridge so they go from wherever they are to a more confident, more physically competent person to handle themselves in a normal environment.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, once they just come in here and try it, they realize, like, wow, this isn't as hard as it may look. Because even
from the outside looking in.
Exactly, because I see a lot of these, videos and stuff online where these kids are flipping and doing some crazy stuff that looks awesome.
I'm not going to happen.
And that's what most people think. Or even as far as kids are concerned, they think my kid can't do that.
Yeah.
So as long as they come in here and they try it and they realize it is something I can do as long as I go at my own pace, that's all we ask.
It's a step process.
Exactly.
You're not going to learn how to do a double flip with a back twirl, whatever it is, on the first day.
Exactly.
And going back to women too, what's the average age of the women in your classes, or let's say low and high end, you offer right now?
I mean,
I have classes too.
Yeah, I have girls in here as young as 4 years old.
Wow, okay.
And I have women in here over 50.
Wow.
So they definitely range from all ages. Of course, the younger you get in here, the better, especially for women. Unfortunately, I think we're always more likely to become a victim. There's never an age where we grow out of that per se. No one's going to try to kidnap my husband, I don't think,
Yeah.
But there's always that opportunity that somebody's going to try to do that to me. So.
And part of it being going to say your 4-year-olds and say younger kids, minors, why do parents bring them in here for self-defense classes?
Well,
Especially girls.
I know my mom brought me in because we were a family of 3 girls.
Okay.
So we had no brothers, and she wanted I grew up in Salinas, California. It's rough there.
It's not Beverly Hills.
No, not at all.
Okay,
So it's very rough. So
I don't know, I've never been there.
growing up in that environment and my mom knowing what was out there, she knew that we had to protect ourselves.
And when you went through that yourself, how long did it take you to build up self-confidence? What did you go through? What was your experience? How old were you?
Well, I started at 4 years old.
Okay.
So,
So
and
you were
then, my instructor was very old school, very tough.
Okay.
So it took a lot. We learned the hard way, definitely. But I'm glad my mom kept me doing it. I'm glad she told me, you made this choice at 4. I don't care if you're 15 now and you want to quit. You're going to keep going because, one, she wanted to show me that hard work and dedication eventually will pay off. But now I'm glad because it wasn't always easy, But
what do you mean?
The training, the preparing for those, for those things.
Okay.
And I think it's a lot easier though than having to deal with it and not being prepared.
Do you think that helped you in the classroom, in life, and normal community type of stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean,
How?
I've done plenty of martial arts tournaments.
Okay.
So as far as fighting, I've done a lot of that in the ring, getting paid, that kind of stuff.
Wow,
But
that's better. Good for
but
her.
I've never been in a real life situation to where I didn't know how to keep the situation from escalating, I guess you could say.
Keep the peace.
Because I've never been hit back.
Okay.
I'm not going to say I've never been in any such type of situations, but they've definitely never escalated to an actual fight because I think my martial arts taught me, one, I don't have to have an ego and I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I know what I'm capable of. So I didn't have to feel like I had to prove. I knew when to walk away and I knew when to de-escalate the situations.
And you almost had, I'm assuming, not to put words in your mouth, self-confidence. Okay, I had no situation. I'm not going to get too emotional about it and not going to panic and not have to either engage or disengage, but be able to control myself and have the, if you want to call it, the magnitude of showing the self-confidence so no one would want to mess with you.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say that, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now being an instructor of 4-year-olds, how do you see that different part of the spectrum?
Oh, well, now that I've gone through all of it and I see it, it's just really helped me with my experiences, showing them how to be taught the proper way. Because, I was in a martial arts class, my instructor, he was awesome. But,
he was hard-nosed, he was...
Yeah, he definitely was, but it was because of the environment that we had to grow up in. It was necessary.
Okay.
I live in Upland, very nice environment, not necessarily
not too rough.
where I have to create that for these kids. But growing up in that and seeing that, I see where the confidence is necessary, no matter what environment you grow up in. Just defending yourself, even when someone goes to work, there are bully bosses out there, so they might not physically beat you up, but they can still take advantage of you.
Well, the emotional trauma sometimes is worse than the physical because emotions, when you become emotionally attached to something, it almost is 10 times harder than the body physically because it beats you up inside. And going back to the kids too, when you teach them the self-confidence, self-esteem with the martial arts, especially girls, how do they exemplify that in their, say, outside the dojo?
Oh man, I mean, they're just so confident. I hear stories from a lot of my parents where they're sticking up for other kids. You know, they're showing other kids their moves on how to get stronger and stuff like that at, you know, at school or gymnastics when they go to these other sports. Yeah. I see Facebook Live videos of their kids working out at home. So they're taking all these, you know, life skills, I would say, that we're teaching here, and they're using them outside of martial arts.
And it makes them physically healthy. That's not even a question per se. Yeah. You mentioned too, part of their outside the dojo too is doing live videos. Do you see that confidence, and even the parents seeing the confidence too?
Yeah, they'll let me know.
What do parents say? Yeah.
I have a kid who's 7 years old, and he's actually in my we call it our coaches college program, and that's where they come on Saturdays and they come to our coaches college, and we teach them how to teach or how to help and instruct in our classes. And I have a student, he's 7 years old, and he's young, but he's awesome, and he's going to be a great instructor one day if that's his choice. But his mom was telling me how she was working at home. And, you know, he came in and he was cheering her on and motivating her just like he does with these kids here. And she's like, you got a little tough with me. But, you know, just showing that he's taking that leadership role outside of here. So,
and that's one thing, too. Anytime you train or anytime you do something that physically is demanding, that carries through your whole life. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you're in the gym or in a dojo or outside hiking or biking. A lot of people don't realize, especially with kids, too, that goes into their educational portion, goes into their home life, goes into their family lives. So when there's a stressful environment, like you mentioned with the mom working at home, they can step it up. Mm-hmm. They go, hey, look, I can handle this. I've done this in the dojo. I can do that. They don't see the difference, especially with kids too. They're a lot more. They're more simplistic in a good way, so they understand. Hey, look, I have the confidence no matter where I am. Mm-hmm. Just perfect.
Yeah. Good. And you know, parents tell me they learn from that. They learn from their kids having that much confidence. Huh? Yeah, and it's like,
kids,
man.
But when you do, they teach you.
Yeah, I learn every day from my students here, so I feel like I got 60 kids.
That's crazy. No, you have 60 kids.
No.
Force huge. With going from say elementary school kids to junior high kids to high school kids and teenagers, early teens, how's that group different when you train, say, women, for example? Where they start out with where they want to progress to.
Yeah, I would say, you know, the younger ones, especially the little ladies that are in here, a lot of times they don't even understand that they're in here for self-defense. Okay. You know, they're in here, they think they're getting a good workout, you know, they are punching these bags. But when I say something as far as self-defense lines go, like this, you know, if somebody's trying to hurt you, you got to do this, and you might have to hurt them, you know, and they're like, why am I going to hurt them?
I don't want to break my nails.
Exactly, you know, and they don't understand that eventually this might save their life. But as long as it's instilled in them from the beginning, I want it to be fun for them. I don't want that mindset necessarily for them yet. I want them just to think it's fun, it's a good workout. And then as they get older, we reality check them a little more, you know.
At what age do you start doing that? Or do they feel comfortable doing it?
Yeah, I would say probably, a little bit we have a different programs for different age groups. Our youngest is 4 to 6. Okay. So we don't really talk about that kind of stuff, obviously, with them.
Yeah, parents still.
Yeah, exactly. Even our next group, 7 to 9, we do it minimally. We have a lot of what we call mat chats. So we'll more discuss, you know...
for that age group,
for that age group, yeah. We have different mat chats for different age groups, but that age group, we get into more just, you know, basic safety for all of them rather than female and male. But I would say probably our junior group when they're 10 and above, and that's when we really start breaking it down for them and letting them understand the differences, you know, and because that's when they also, you know, when I have 4-year-old girls beating up 6-year-old boys in the class. Yeah. But as they get older and they're 10 years old, they start to see men are stronger, you know, things like that. So we have to use our technique more. So that's when we start getting into those differences.
So, and the hormones are changing at that point, so the girls are kind of, and guys too, are really just kind of finding their own way.
Yeah. It's amazing. And egos with dealing with getting beat up by a girl.
And how do parents respond to those mat chats and start getting to those other, say, 10-plus age groups? How do the parents respond to that when you guys deal with it?
I mean, as far as the feedback I've gotten is they love it because they'll even come to me with situations that they've had to be dealing with at home with their kids. And then instead of us calling their kid out on it one-on-one, we'll have a mat chat with it. Because if that one kid's dealing with it, I'm sure other kids are dealing with that same situation.
And sometimes when you're in a situation, too, or stressed, you almost think you're the only one.
Yeah.
So when you become, hey, look, I'm not the only one, people that are around me have the same problem, how did they fix it? And that correlates, how can I fix it? And again, maintain that self-confidence where I can still figure things out on my own.
Exactly, and you're not getting called out, you know, in front of everybody, but you're seeing other kids' experiences, and especially when they're able to speak up about it and how they dealt with it or how they're dealing with it at that time, it helps the other kid. Instead of coming from mom or sensei, it's coming from a peer. And a lot of times when they hear it from that peer, it tends to stick a little better.
They can let it kind of digest in their mind too, their noggin. And going to 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds too, how do, in your adult groups, I'm assuming, how do they come in and respond? How do they have expectations down the line?
I think, of course, as women get older, it is a little tougher because, anybody old dogs don't want to learn new tricks. So when they come in, I think it's just in the beginning, building the confidence for them, letting them see that they are capable of doing these things, because maybe they've been told they can't, And so a lot of times in our head, that's what we think is when we can't do something if somebody's told us we can't do it, or we just ourselves feel like we can't do it.
When you get to high school too, I see a lot, because I do a lot of talks to high schools, and I have interns too, is they lose that self-confidence.
Yeah.
They're around a lot more people, school gets harder for them, they get more tired throughout the day, they have other things going on, their life becomes relatively a lot more on top of them. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it is, I think they lose that self-confidence, and that regresses to their social life, regresses to even their community life or around people they're around, where they're in a natural environment, they're going to go, there'll be a wallflower versus someone who's going, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
They're going to lose that confidence.
We like to stay in our comfort zone as we get older,
Exactly.
And I, as long as we make this their comfort zone and they are comfortable here to try new things, that's when they excel and they progress.
And how do you make them, if they're comfortable, like, okay, I'm good where I am right now, but I want to become more self-aware of my surroundings, be able to fit myself physically, how do you get them out of that comfort zone into a new comfort zone?
Honestly, I build trust first, and then I force them. Because I do it.
You said force them,
yes,
right?
in a way to where they don't necessarily realize I'm forcing them.
Yes.
But I'm pushing them out of those comfort zones slowly, little by little. But I built trust, so they don't like it, but they're allowing me to do it because they trust that what I'm doing is good for them.
You've helped them in the past. You've helped them get from where they were before they walked in day one, with to say day 30, day 60. And now, how do I get to day 90 and feel more self-confident, more aware and able to, if I need to defend myself?
Yeah, like how does anybody get out of their comfort zone? Someone makes them, have to do something.
You can't get more, if you want to call it intelligent or anything, until you've got a comfort zone. You can't grow without doing it. Even out of your own shoes sometimes too.
And even sometimes we do have to be forced,
Well, sometimes it's not your option.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you can't control your environment 20%. We can't control our environment 99% of the time.
Yeah, unless you want to stay there, then we cannot do it.
And when you stay there, is there a more chance of getting taken advantage of when you're staying there than there is when you're able to become someone who can be confident and show people that they're not going to mess with you?
Well, I mean, if you don't use it, you lose it. So
huge.
Either way, whether you've never been experienced before or you stop coming and practicing, it's not going to work for you when the time comes. It has to be consistency.
And when someone, say, does take a break and comes back again, how do they respond differently?
Of course, I see the confidence drop from when they left compared to when they're coming back.
Talking about female in her 20s, 30s, 40s?
Yeah, definitely. When they take a break, a lot of times it's, life happens, family, work, whatever happens. Yeah. But I do see the lack of confidence. When they left, they were probably, up here with that, and then they come back. Everybody else is continuing to progress. Okay. So they feel like they got left behind a little bit, you know? So of course that doesn't help, and that's why we try not to allow people to take breaks. Even if you're coming in once a week, that's better than not coming in at all.
It's still a routine. Once a week, 3 times a week, once a couple times a month. As long as you're doing something so you're in the system, it's in your head. So I'm assuming at that point okay, I have a class coming up to make sure I stay in shape for that class. I'm going to fall real bad behind. I'm going to look not so good.
So, and then everything, of course, becomes harder.
Yes.
Your push-ups are harder. Your sit-ups are harder. Everything is tougher.
Yes.
So, of course, that first week, whenever they come back, I see it in their face. It's tough.
All right, can't breathe.
Exactly.
Can't breathe.
But again, once they get over that little hump, they're back on it and they're consistent again. They're perfectly fine.
And in women's self-defense too, specifically for women, and you mentioned when they get to the teenage years, even beyond that too, there's a difference in physicality of men versus women. That's just a fact. How do you adjust how you give someone self-defense classes, a woman versus a man? Is it, you mentioned more technique, other things to explain that?
Yeah, so especially in our martial arts class, if we're working on like practical self-defense together, I'll make sure that I switch up their partners. So you might be working with this big guy in the beginning, and then you might be working with somebody who's smaller, so you understand the differences that you have to make and the tweaks that you have to make. Because when I'm working with somebody littler, I'm going to have to grab different, or I'm going to have to control differently compared to if I'm working with somebody bigger, I'm not going to control, I'm going to break, you know, things like that.
I don't know what that is. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna get broken. That's what I'm hearing.
Exactly, yeah. There's no controlling a big guy. You got to hurt him, you know. So.
What a lot of it is you're saying is as you work with someone, they practice. They gain the confidence, they gain the repetition, and the unconscious habit of doing something.
Yes.
How long does that take usually? What's a good range for someone?
Oh boy, it's different for everybody because everyone learns at a different level. They learn differently. Some people I have to just explain it to them and they get it. Yeah. Other people I have to show them. I have to let them do it on me. I have to do it on them. That might happen a few times, and then finally that clicks. You know, so especially in our classes, it's luckily we're able to critique it for everybody. So that way we make sure it's, you know, because you're a bigger guy, you got to do it this way and it's going to work for you.
Even though it's a group class, you can go individually and go, hey, look, with your situation, let's work on this strength, let's work on this. When you get the big system we're trying to do, then you progress with everybody else.
Exactly, yeah, because you will have that student that says, hey, it worked on him, but it's not working on her. Yes. So then I'll be able to show them, okay, it didn't work on her because of this, so let's try this.
And everyone in the class obviously sees that too, so that way, okay, I'm going to work on that also. If that happens to me, I can get that situation also. You see the whole group progressing at a higher level together versus being stagnant the whole time. Talk about your class you're coming up to with your next class, or how often do you have them?
We having a free women's self-defense seminar. I had one last month at Remax in Laverne. It went great. But we try to have them at least once a month or every other month. We do them free, open to all of the community. We usually do them for ages 13 and up. And basically what we talk about there is the awareness. I would say the biggest thing about self-defense for anybody would be awareness. I think a lot of times people get into situations because they were unaware, and that stopped them from being able to let the situation de-escalate or completely get out of it.
They didn't really know what was going on.
No, until it was too late, you know.
In those classes, do you teach them certain techniques or self-defense moves, or?
Yeah, we do some, you know, we do a little chat first talking about the basic safety and awareness, and then we do go over some basic situations. And then at the end, I ask them if they have any situation that they've ever either been in or been curious about, and then I'll show them, you know, an escape from there.
Cool. Well, if you want to, if Jeremy's up for it, let's do a couple moves that you had mentioned in your class that you do, and let's see exactly what it is.
Sure.
I didn't come dressed, so I can't do it myself, but let's see what it is.
Okay.
And that's the thing is when you're, I think, involved with this, and as we kind of get to that, we're going to close afterwards too, is make sure you're doing something for especially what I see with my patients as women, so you build self-confidence, self-esteem up. Even with Jessica in their classes here too, you have an idea what it is. So you know, okay, even if I don't want to really know, I know how to defend myself. You know, at that point, your awareness, like you had mentioned, getting out of the situation before it escalates allows you to have that confidence. Okay, look, I'm going to back off. I'm out of here. I'm done. Versus letting things get so far where now you can't turn back. Then you're really stuck either fighting or subduing to whatever's going on in your situation. Yeah, I think.
Definitely.
But,
yeah.
Cool.
So I do want to just say we are having a free women's self-defense seminar on February 28th. It will be here at my karate studio, California Black Belt Academy, and it will be at 7 o'clock, and it's open for all women ages 16 and up.
What's the day?
13 and up.
Is that a weekend?
It's a weekday. It's a Wednesday night.
And I'll put on the show notes too, so have the show notes, information here, the address, phone number, everything else. So you can contact them even through Facebook. We'll contact through Facebook through their dojo and also through their personal Facebooks too. All right? Let's get to the show.
All right.
Exactly what we're going to do here.
All right, so Dr. Tony did ask me to show a couple moves. I figured I would show you kind of what I teach in my basic self-defense seminars or my classes, and then I can show you a couple of more advanced moves as well.
You can always double it up if you need to do it again.
All right, so I'll show you a basic one first from, let's say, like a choke or a grab. Okay. So from a basic choke or grab, if he's here, I'm going to go into the throat here. I'm going to grab his hand. I'm going to twist him down. Boom, just like that. From here, basic, I can always hit, kick, and then back up. I'm able to hopefully get away at that time or go get help. Okay. Another one a little more advanced that you can do. From here, same thing, take him down. Boom. Okay, from here, I go here. Okay. And so from there, I'm doing a lot more. But I'm getting him into a submissive situation rather than just running away. Because the other one, it's a lot more basic, but it doesn't guarantee that he's gonna not get up and chase me, right?
Okay.
So on the more advanced one, you see when I do it here, I'm pushing right into the throat.
Okay.
Obviously, that's very uncomfortable. Okay, it's gonna make him lean back. When he does that, I'm gonna grab that wrist, I'm gonna hold it right against my chest, and I'm gonna twist it down here.
So close to your body.
Yes. From here, I have a couple different options. I have a wrist lock here.
Okay.
I have a elbow twist here. I have here. I can go into a bicep lock here. Okay. And then, of course, if I stay here, he can still pull me down, right?
Yeah.
He still has a little bit of an advantage. So, of course, I can always bring him around here. And then now he's in a little more of a submissive situation.
Okay.
Now I have a little more control. So as he tries to get out or do anything, I have this lock here that's going to hold him down. Okay.
Got it.
Of course,
Okay.
I can always go into finger breaks and things like that.
How long does it take to actually learn that as a student?
A long time.
Okay.
Yes. The beginning stuff, I think, not very long. As
Okay.
long as you practice it, it doesn't take a long time to do the basics. When you're getting more into that stuff, that takes a little more time. But we'll do one more.
Good. Perfect.
So from like a wrist grab. So very basic. When somebody's grabbing you, I always tell my students that when you strike them, so if I punch him, if I kick him, that's a distraction. It doesn't guarantee that he's gonna let go of my wrist. So any strikes are a distraction, and then you have to get away. So from here, I would do boom, escape here, 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 and here. So all of those are really basic movements. But when you put them together, they hurt a lot, right?
Do you do any type of, not screaming, but any type of yelling while you're doing the whole thing? Or is that
yeah,
part
definitely.
of it?
You want to make as much noise as possible, so that way hopefully someone comes and helps, right? Okay. And then a little more advanced one that you could do from there. From here, again, boom, here's a break. Here, up, here's a lock.
Yeah.
So a little more, right?
Wow. Okay.
So just showing you the difference between very basic and then if you do have that training and you come in and you're consistently practicing, there's obviously a lot more that you can do.
And when you come in a situation like this, do you assess your body size versus your person you're going to be attacked by, for examtle?
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Realistically, they're most likely going to be bigger than you.
Okay.
If they're going to that life and death attack situation.
Yes.
So, of course, with a male, I'm always going to want to hit those vital points, Throwing, throat, nose, anything that's soft. Especially if I don't have any training at all whatsoever, I don't suggest that you punch anybody because if you don't know how to punch, you could break your hand.
And then grab your wrist, too.
Exactly. So I suggest more open hand techniques.
Okay.
If you're hitting with your palm, more to soft spots, nose, growing, anything like that, you're going to stay a little safer rather than hurting yourself and then making the situation worse. So
Great. Perfect.
It's a little bit
Good. Anything else to add?
No, I would just say, if one thing I would say about women's self-defense is, be aware and stay prepared. Whether you have your cell phone out or you have a weapon on you, pepper spray, a taser. We sell little martial arts weapons called a botan. But
Great.
anything that you can use to stay safe and make sure you're always aware of your surroundings. I think one thing for women is, like they say, well, what happens when you have to turn your back because you're putting your kid in the car seat or something like that. Even having your kid help you, say, hey, let me know if anybody's behind me.
Exactly.
They can always help too. So there's always some way to be safer. So just try and think about that and also tell your kids so that way they can help you stay safe too.
Is there anything on your website about your women's self-defense class also and your class coming up?
Not right now, but we
Okay.
can definitely put that up.
Perfect.
Go ahead and look at uplanddojo.com.
Perfect.
And I will make sure we get that up for you guys.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jessica, for the interview, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right.